Hey, it's Jen. I have another movement of the day post for you. Today's mod is going to be all about how to perform a perfect push-up. So the basic push-up, full standard push-up, press-up, whatever you want to call it, is the high plank to all the way to the floor push-up. That's what I'm talking about. And I just love push-ups so much. I mean, it's like Bubba from Forrest Gump and all his rattling off all the shrimp dishes. I could do that all day long for push-ups. I mean, there's pike push-ups, Spider-Man push-ups, bird dog push-ups, dive bomber push-ups, commando push-ups, T push-ups. Did I say T push-ups? Anyway, plyo push-ups, decline push-ups, kick-through push-ups. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of variations to this exercise, probably more so than any other exercise, which is awesome because you'll never run out of things to do or be bored. There's also, if you add in hybrid movements, compound movements, or add in weights, I mean, you're kicking up the variation possibilities to way over 100 easy. Now, where the full push-up falls on this continuum from easy to hard is somewhere on the lower end. That doesn't mean that it's an easy exercise, but a lot of people make it harder than it needs to be, or they make it easier than it should be by botching up the form. And you want to be able to do about 10 to 15 with a really good form before you start adding in a bunch of variations. Because it's better to do like 3 with strict and good form than do a bunch of halfway or botched variations. So I'll go over the form, the cues, and give you a drill if you're not quite there yet. But if you know for sure that you don't have the strength to do a full push-up right now, I do have an IG post from not too long ago talking about the easiest variation, which is you stand against the wall, and the wall being the incline. So once you move off the wall, then you're going to start using higher to lower inclines until you're actually on the floor, and that's an easier variation than doing them on your knees. If you do your push-ups correctly on knees, it's not that much easier, and it's actually just front loading the upper half and not engaging on the bottom, because that's what we really need to think about a push-up as a full body exercise. So yes, it does focus on your upper body, your chest, your shoulder, and your arms, and some core. You really need to be able to engage throughout your whole body in order to keep that high plank, that plank form all the way down and up. So in order to keep it in line, so it's just easier to think about it as a full body exercise instead of saying I don't have the arm strength. So it's just a matter of finding which level progression is where you're at for the time being. All right, so let's talk through some of the points first, and then I could quickly repeat it as I show you at the end. So let's start with the hands, because this is not something that most people talk about, but it's the foundation. So we want to have our hands on the floor with the middle finger pointing straight forward and spread the fingers out. Think about like full contact with the floor, but also think about gripping the floor and even pressing the floor together as you perform the move. Now, as far as where those hands should lie, think about just pressing someone or pushing someone away from you right now, and that will be your natural position. And you can see that the hand falls slightly beyond the shoulder. Then your wrist will be right underneath your shoulders, so in line with your shoulders. But keep this in mind that as you come down, your wrist then should be in line with your chest. That means there actually is a forward movement of your shoulder and neck. Let me show you what that means on with my hand model. So this is your plank, and this is your shoulder right here, and this is your arm. So remember, in the beginning we are right in line, your arm and your shoulder. But if we want to keep this plank position and not fall out of line, and we come down, see, we actually have to go beyond, okay, in order to keep that plank position And that's why we have that forward movement just a little bit. Now we talk about packing the shoulders, so that means bringing your shoulders down and your shoulder blades around and together. So think about, if these are your shoulder blades, think about them being lovebirds. They're going to want to come as close to as each other as possible and kiss right over the spine, and then they're going to break up as you push away and spread apart as far as possible. Okay, engage your core, engage your butt, which is automatically going to engage your glutes, engage all the way down. Now then, if this is your feet, okay, you're on the balls of your foot, right? Well, think about pressing that heel away. So think about elongating as much as possible. So those are your cues, and I will show you. We'll do the run through. Oh, I'm sorry. And then one more thing. As you come down, okay, so you're here, as you come down, you could do this right now. Think about this position that you have between your head and your elbows being about 30 degrees out. It forms like a triangular shape, right? So about 30 degrees out. Okay, think about holding that shape. All right, we're gonna have Gaboo help us one more time. So once again, we're going to start by pushing out. That's where we're going to fall, our shoulder width. Our hands are spread, and middle finger is pointing forward. Okay, wrist is under your shoulder. Your gaze is going to be a couple inches above and forward on the floor. And we're going to think about keeping that chin and your chest distance the same throughout. And pack that shoulder down. Engage everything. Sorry about that. And push that. See how my heel, if I push it out, okay? So keep that in line. Come all the way down to the floor. Right to the chest. Exhale when you come up. And then if you don't have that form quite yet, what I want you to do is this drill of holding that high plank. Hold it for about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, get a good engagement, and then do a negative, that means a negative slow descent. And then when you come down to the floor, just reset, start up at the high plank again. So I think there's one more thing I didn't mention, and that's your gaze. When I say look ahead a couple inches on the floor, that's because I had mentioned before our neck follows our gaze. So if we say, hey, look up at the ceiling, usually we look up and our neck follows. We don't just move our eyeballs. Same thing, people will tend to look down, trying to get closer to the floor by looking down, and that brings their neck down. So that's the reason why. All right, I think that's all of it, and I think that's more than enough. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry if I'm out of breath. I think I have a cold. All right, I'll catch you guys again. Give this a try. This is Jung signing off, reminding you to start where you are, do what you can, use what you have. Move something.